Aloha and welcome to a League of Extraordinary Couples. I'm not Amy, maybe I'm the Austrian Amy. My name is Alexandra Deubner. I'm a career coach from Austria, and today I have the pleasure of actually interviewing two awesome people. It's the last day of our show here, of Amy's show, and I have the pleasure to introduce Amy to you here. Hi, Amy and Marc. Hi.
Aloha, everyone. We're on the other end of the questions today.
Hi, everybody.
Which is really amazing. So it's you are the host of this awesome online show, and you're also a social pioneer and a compassion activist and a relational health coach. And I think it makes so much sense to have you as this bonus, to share all the questions and answer all the questions that you usually ask all the other experts. So great to have you here today.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your generosity and time and energy in helping make this happen. You are an important person in my life, and joining us from Vienna, the wonders of technology, Vienna to Hawaii, and everyone. This is my beloved Marc. You've heard me talk about him throughout the show, and I'm delighted that he has the day off. It's a holiday here in the States, and so we're able to get our interview in.
Aloha, everyone. Yes. Nice to be here.
So great to have you, Marc. And actually, you met in Europa graduate school in 1997, so a long time ago. And you have been married since 2002, which is just awesome. So I'm really happy that you're sharing all your insights today. Yeah. And so if we start already, maybe, the people probably know all the questions already, but just in case they forgot, so the first question is, if you were to describe your relationship as a landscape, what would you say? Like, what picture would you paint for us today?
I love this question. I know, it's like my favorite one. Would you like to start?
It's a good place to start. Well, in thinking about our landscape, I tend to picture a mountain in the background, a variety of our favorite trees like aspen and cedar and ohia and palm, things we know from places we've lived in the past and where we are now. There's definitely a lake down off in the distance with a stream gurgling by, some bird song. Sounds like a Bob Ross painting, I say. And maybe there's a little cute cabin over here for quiet meditation or space that we can go off to that's not used for much else, just kind of a retreat. I think that would be a nice aspect to it. Probably a nice mossy area to lie down, bird song, and a gentle breeze kissing the backs of our necks, and
awesome.
that's how I would describe our relationship as a landscape.
Now you all see how lucky I am, right? It's just so poetic and beautiful. Thank you. It's my turn, right? I'm not the interviewer. I'm in a different hat. So my landscape, to describe this space between, I've thought about this a lot, during the course of this interview series, and how would I respond? And the image of the ocean just keeps coming up. This ocean of consciousness, this sea of possibility, the beautiful, big rollers and waves at times, and other times a very placid, beautiful, smooth surface. The both and then coming in the ocean, forming the inlets of the beach, the shoreline, the consciousness of where I am, and then coming over at where Marc is, and really recognizing that we each have our own islands, our own sovereignty. And then there's this beautiful space between, which is the ocean, which is my favorite thing on the planet, is the ocean. And I like to think of the surface as our consciousness, and then deep down underneath is the unconsciousness. And really feeling the intermingling of that, particularly at the beach. And sometimes it's, we've spent a lot of time at the beach, and sometimes the wind is whipping and it's stinging our legs and it doesn't feel good, but we're there. And other times it's a beautiful moonlit night in what is that stuff called in the waves?
the phosphorescence,
bioluminescence or whatever. It's like this magical quality of the ocean and all of it coming together. And the last thing I'll say about that is I used to be pretty scared of the big open water of the sea, you know, and I would stay huddled up on my safe little mountain on my island. But the more I dive in here and recognize that no matter what, I can dive deep and come to a place of stillness and calm within me, then I feel like that really is reflective of my willingness to show up in this ocean of our relationship. That's my landscape.
Wow, I love it. I love it. Yeah. Beautiful landscapes, I have to say. I want to be there. What would you say matters most in your relationship?
Do you want me to go? Or?
Yeah, why don't you go?
Okay. First thought, best thought on that one is gratitude. I feel like it comes back over and over again for being grateful for everything. The good, the bad, the ugly, the stinging sand, the beautiful palms blowing on the beach. When I can learn to cultivate this attitude of gratitude, which I feel like I do on a daily basis, it's basically my religion, if I were to name one. I think Oprah Winfrey has the same religion, her religion of gratitude. It really brings such a richness to our relationship. It brings a spacious quality to allow that. I talk about this quite a bit, the space for grace to enter and work in our hearts and minds in a way that is indeed miraculous. And I can give a clear example. Anytime I have a frustration, I remember what my Imago therapy mentor, Maya Coleman, taught me. And she said, if you can turn your frustrations into appreciations, that's master level relationship. That's like the conscious relationship. And that's what I want. That's what I'm hungry for. So when I see those dirty dishes piled up in the sink, like this morning, I love to have everything cleaned up before we get going, but there's these little jars, and it's because my beloved made homemade yogurt yesterday. And so there's all these little jars and the Instapots there, and my kids have been in, and the older boy's not up yet to empty the dishwasher. Long story to say, those frustrations that normally would irk me and get under my skin and get me all riled up, I turn them into appreciations that my beloved was home to make homemade food, that my kids are nourished and nourishing themselves, you know, and their dishes. So mine's gratitude. That's a long-winded way of saying what matters most to me is gratitude. How about you?
It's wonderful. How about you, Marc?
I would have to say that what matters most is just a sense of knowing it. It goes. We were talking about this on our walk this morning. I feel like it's more than the word commitment. This place that I feel like we're able to come from now, and I think that only comes as a result of commitment. But it's a commitment to myself to return again and again to what we have experienced, which is a deep love, a appreciation and understanding for what we've been through and what we've been through well before we met each other.
There's a lot, yeah. Go back there and remember all that.
I wasn't trying to bring that up. But
we've been through a lot.
It's meant to just recognize that, you know, no matter where you are in a relationship, you're bringing with you so much from your own upbringing, your own parents' relationship, other unsuccessful relationships you've had prior to that. Yeah. And there are so many opportunities when really where we've made the choice to not bail.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, you know, it's just a knowing that I know that you've been through so much and I wasn't there for a lot of that. And you know that I've been through so much, and you're able to recognize that that makes me who I am, as it does for you. And we're we're championing each other in that way because we really want the other and ourselves to be the best that we can be.
Wow. This is so beautiful, really. You're so well said. You're a poet.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
You really are. So, I mean, now that you said such nice things, I actually don't want to ask the next question. Just imagine there is ever some negativity. How do you dissolve it?
Okay, can I go first?
Sure.
Because I've got this thing that's been bothering the hell.
Oh, no. It's real time. It's reality TV here. Are you serious?
No.
Okay. Oh, he's getting over that cold. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Oh, honey.
Well, I'll just pick up a thread from what I was saying before, and because we're able to, keep doing those. It's not like we have a recommitment ceremony or something like that. I know that's an important part of a lot of people's lengthy relationships, but I feel like there's an expectation that I hold myself to of remaining in relationship and turning towards each other even when I don't want to. So what do I do when it gets difficult? I mope a little bit. I get a little, like my little kid comes out, and then I feel even more alone, which is not how I want to feel. And it takes me, I got to go into that a little bit before I'm willing to grow out of it. And luckily I've learned that I can. And so I can turn towards what I know we have and trust in it. So again, it's beyond just the word of commitment. It really has to do with, I'm going to turn towards what it feels really, really difficult. And it's funny because we'll both be in that place. It's like this, and I shrink back and she gets bigger most of the time is how that works.
Yeah. I'm the maximizer and you're the minimizer.
And so she wants more and I'm like, oh,
look at it. It doesn't work.
And I think we've gotten to a point where it's really shifted and we'll be looking at each other and one of us will kind of just crack a smile or just recognize the ridiculousness of it. Because it's not what we want. It's just some leftover unfinished stuff from who knows when. Mm-hmm. And when we remember and come back to that place of knowing and wanting to be in connection, wanting that bridge that Amy talks about so much, the bridge of connection, one of us will start to smile or one of us will start to dance or, I'll come over and try to put my hands on her and I'll feel her tense up and it takes a little while.
And then I soften.
And so it really takes leaning in, which is so much of the opposite of what I think we want to do when we're in that flight or fight place. But it couldn't be better when we lean towards.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I just piggyback on that?
It's your turn.
The idea of conflict as growth trying to happen has been an incredible game changer for me. So instead of, the conflict comes up and then I'm feeling angry and then I get angry at myself for feeling angry because Marc's so peaceful and I'm often the instigator, not always, but most of the time. That layer of self-aggression that I've been able to heal that, leaps and bounds heal that, and then recognize whatever's coming up here, there's some opportunity for us to grow. And for me to stretch into a new way of being, that when I can do that, and be more the supporter, be more patient, be more reflective, that then you will come out. That when I create that safety and that containment, primarily when we use the imago dialogue, the intentional dialogue, that really helps us a lot. But then what you're saying also is just that state of being, of turning towards, leaning towards, smiling, hugging till relaxed, all those things. We did have the opportunity to talk about a little bit this morning. And when I was saying the feeling I have with you is one of such deep safety and such deep knowing. And you say it's beyond this commitment. And I know that, and I feel that, and it brings it forward in me. And Marc hinted at our pasts, that we all bring forward to our relationship. And I certainly brought a lot of historical trauma and abuse. And I was, 3 years sober when we met in 97. So thankfully I wasn't still creating a whole lot of wreckage in my life or enduring a whole lot. But there was a lot of healing, and there's still a lot of healing to take place. I think it's a lifelong journey. But when I can meet some of Marc's unmet childhood needs, I feel like it stretches me into a new way of being. And when you can do that, you grow and shift. And so that's a lot of words to say that for me, I deal with the negativity by not running from it, recognizing the anger comes up. It's a natural emotion. I don't have to be angry at myself for being angry. It's here to set right something that's wrong, reestablish boundaries, do something with it, and then let it go. Forgive everybody, everything, including myself. And we were talking about it because when I don't let it go and I hold on to it, it's what I call a resentment. And I've learned that having a resentment is like drinking poison.
That's not actually poison.
No, it's my teeth. And
Adding a little drama here.
little props here. We've got props for you. When I drink that, it's like expecting someone else to die. Like, well, I'll show him, and wanting to vaporize Marc. I'm really just hurting myself, and it's so toxic. And I have such a rigor for my self-care and my self-acceptance and self-compassion today that I'm not willing to hold resentments, that I can literally drop those stones from my heart and let go of the resentment. And then you were reading, I asked Marc to do this prop today. Here's a book that he was reading to me the other night.
I just wanted to hold up a little cute book. I take that on.
How to fight. I love it.
Wait, it's not okay now.
So there's a whole series of these little pocket-sized books that we've been enjoying over the last few years. How to eat, how to sit, how to meditate,
how to walk.
And this is his latest one, How to Fight. So similar to what you were saying, it's like someone whose house is on fire running after the person who set the fire instead of going and putting out the flames.
Yeah.
So if we don't take care of our own anger, our whole house will burn down.
Yeah. Thank you for reading that. I thought that was so powerful. He read that the other night and we were just about to have a fight. And I said, can you read that again? And then bringing in that laughter and bringing in that way of dissipating the anger and recognizing this isn't going to get me where I want to go.
As I remember it, we were in bed, and the whole thing is don't go to bed angry, right?
Right.
There's this whole notion of that. And so she gets on her side of the bed and starts muttering something. I honestly don't remember what it was, but she was clearly starting a fight. Yeah. And I said, oh, well, I'll read from this new book that she didn't know I had bought called How to Fight. And she went from her place of, well, I'll show him, is how I interpreted that. I really don't remember what it was about. That's not the issue. Right. The issue is that there was something right there that you just started laughing. You were just like, I don't think you believed that I had a book called How to Fight by a Vietnamese Buddhist monk, first of all. And then, so that helped.
And that helped. And yes, and if I may add, it was because I'd gotten to that point of halt. And I'm going to offer this up as another tool that I learned in my recovery toolkit, which is don't get too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Because when I get in that place, it's like halt. And I was super beat that day because I've been getting up at 4:30 and going. no excuse, but I was zonkered, and those are not the times to have deep conversations, folks. You know, the bed is a sacred space, and we don't have TV in our room. We don't bring the computer to bed. We have a sacred space around our bed. So that's another way we dissolve negativity. So that was a long answer. All right, let's go. What's the next one?
But I love it. Yeah, so you will never guess what the last one is.
Right.
How do you actually deepen your connection?
Yeah. You want to start?
Well, I feel like each one of these questions is like a stair up, or maybe a stare down, you know, towards deeper reflection. But for us, I believe it's more time engaged either in something fun or something meaningful, togetherness. That, you know, regardless of quantity or quality, I think it's more about quantity for us. The more we're together, the better we seem to know what's going on. We all have that experience, right? You're away from each other. You've got your work life. I get in my car. She stays here. Or I'm sure anyone listening to this has that experience of that separation for the work that we do, the time that we spend with our families, and then the coming back together. We tend to have challenges with the transition of coming back together. I think because those islands that you describe get a little more isolated, and then the bridge is there, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute.
Right.
But it's definitely having more time focused or unfocused together.
Yeah.
That's what seems to do it, I think, for us.
Yeah. I just had this image of one of those rope bridges, you know, that's all wobbly, and you're like, I don't know if I want to go across it to the other side. But yeah, that, and you mentioned earlier that sense of when we travel and we go somewhere else, and there's always this transition to a new place. And didn't you have a beautiful image of that? It was like an instrument or something. I didn't quite get it, but I said, bring it up, because somebody in our audience is going to be a musician and they're going to remember this. Do you remember?
Well, yeah, you know, use a stringed instrument, for example. And I'm sure I'm not the first to liken a relationship to an instrument. It needs tuning, it needs playing, it needs to make it sound. And, you know, when it gets put away for a while, it gets out of tune. When you go someplace really dry or someplace really humid, it needs to adapt and be tended to. So in order to make the right noises, there's one.
Did you say something like an instrument that stays tuned needs less tuning later or something? That is played more often needs less tuning?
Yeah, I mean, if you're tending to anything, whether, you know, the pot of soup that's slow cooking on your stove, go stir it every once in a while. You know, the instrument that you have that you want to become better and better at, whether it's a guitar or a relationship or any other number of things, that, you know, that's about not just mastery, but attention, like the practice and the patience with what you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you, Boo. I love the idea of us having time together. When we do, it just feels so good. And historically, when I've gone out of town, or, you know, it's like we fight before I leave. And I think that fight is the protest against loss of connection. You know, that's classically what I learned in Imago. It's like, I don't want to be separated, but how do I take him with me wherever I go and take this sense of safety and trust and love? And that has grown over the years. And I feel like I can do that transition with a little more grace and ease now. And I'm grateful for that. Our time together is so precious to me. And for me, the way we deepen connection is like this morning, like waking up early, making love, doing meditation. Did you just wink? He's a winker, yeah. Yeah, meditation, the yoga, and then going for a walk outside at sunrise. That was like my all-star morning, you know, when I can do all of those things, take the cold shower, do this.
So I didn't want to do all of that list of things, right?
No. Sometimes I jump into my promoting, controlling mode, and you go along with it, and it's a day off, and he knew how much this meant to me. And so I think we were able to kind of jam pack it full of all those things. Those are things I do for myself, most of those things on a daily basis. But to share that with you was super special. So that's how I feel like we deepen that connection. And then when we get outdoors, I feel like when we can get outside, yesterday we had the good fortune of being at the beach, and it's just, it's this sense of connecting with something greater than ourselves that gets us out of ourselves. When we're outside doing something for a greater good, you know, it's like that expansive quality of getting over ourselves and being a force for good in the world. That's great. And then we can go sneak around some trees and make love outdoors. That's like my favorite way to deepen connection. And my mom will be listening to this, and your mom will be listening to this. And there it is. There's something a little risky about that because we don't do that other risky stuff anymore. So get to play with it outside. So yeah, I think that's it.
I think they won't follow you the next time you go somewhere.
Right. Give us some private time outside, right? Yeah.
This is so incredible for me. Before you get to your gift, I just wanted to also mention that I can see so much, you know, deep connection and trust and love. And it's just, you know, I can feel it even though we are miles away, actually 11 hours time difference. and it's incredible. I can feel both of you and your connection so strongly. And this is something really special. I just wanted to say that.
Mahalo. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks for being such a great interviewer. We didn't give you much airtime because you know I love to talk. So it's
I don't need it. Yeah, I'm the framework.
Right. Well, I do want to offer a big thank you to our audience and offer a free gift. So Marc and I have put together, I reference the Imago work quite a bit. And as we develop our own signature style and our own flavor of bringing together all these different wisdom traditions, we have already recorded for you a series called Couplehood, dun, 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 A New Way to Love. What?
There was a glare on it.
Oh, okay. The glare.
There you go.
This is the Couplehood Mindset, and it's a wonderful gift that we will provide the link below. It's a chance to see us interacting in little digestible chunks to interview or introduce the relationship vision, that maximizing, minimizing energy. Really, I think it's 6 to 8 sessions to really get in there and tune up your relationship. And so that's a great way to kickstart that. Anything you want to add about our Couplehood gift offering?
It really is. It's just a quick, like these interviews, a chance to take turns watch it together, see what sparks familiarity with what you hear us talk about. Because, you know, we're picking up the framework from another group that has really developed the Imago dialogue, the skills of communication and what it means to go deeper. We all have to figure that out. Yeah. So it's just one of those neat frameworks, and I keep using that word, but it does provide something that we all benefit from. So we'd love you to have a look at that.
Yeah.
I definitely will. I have to say, I definitely will.
Great. And that's just a little taste so that you can see the relational healing that we've done through Imago. And then we're going to weave in the whole arc of connection, the addictions recovery, the relational healing, and the contemplative work in the meditative space. So stay tuned. If you want to come join us for our retreats here in Hawaii, there's more on the horizon as we get to spend more time together and bring our gifts to the world. So I'm a little sad to say this, but this is our last interview in this series of A League of Extraordinary Couples. And I really, really would love to hear from you. So please give us some feedback. Send an email to me at help@amyelizabethgordon.com and let me know what were your takeaways from this interview series. And let me know if you'd like me to continue, because in case you haven't gotten this sense, I love doing these interviews. And it's within the realm of possibilities that I do them, once a month, once a week, something like that. But I want to hear from you. What do you want? What did you take from this? And that's your call to action today as a small token of reciprocity for what has been so freely given. So thank you for letting me be of service and do this show and be on the other side of it, the both interview and be interviewed. So thank you again, Alex, and aloha to everyone, and be well.
Thanks, everyone. Aloha.
Thank you also from my side. You were wonderful. And please, people, rewatch all the stuff and send Amy some feedback. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Many kisses from Vienna to Hawaii.
And back to Vienna and back to everyone in the world. Aloha and be well.